Hey, it's Biddy Penny, and yeah, it's about to get really cardy up in here. So I'm going to make 6 cards today. I'm showing you here, I kind of did sketches just to get my brain working, and I am unboxing just very quickly all the kits. This is from the December Spellbinders card kit of the month for 2020. Yeah, I get mine late in the month. I've got to bump it up. And this kit was one that was hard to wait on. So what I did is I took the colored cardstock and I made 5.5 by 5.5 cards. Today I'm actually focusing on the dies, the stickers, the paper of course, and the stamps. I'm going to bring in a tiny bit of ephemera, but not too much. So I kind of got too tough on when I was scoring one of my card bases. So that's the first one I'm going to use. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to throw it out. I can figure it out. So I'm going to my sketches and just kind of getting to see if I have something there to work with, and I wanted to kind of do a swag across one card. Never done it before. It just kind of, when I sit down, I don't do it too often. I need to do it much more often, but I'll get a kit, look at it sometimes, and then just roughly sketch some things out and just let my brain work before I even step into my craft room. So I wanted to do a swag, and I am just going to do it by hand. Brought in a pencil, I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm just going to cut something really rough here, no dye needed. And I really like how this came out. I think I'm going to have to work with this idea some more. So I bumped it up a little bit there, increased it over the edge to cover that part that I had kind of torn a little bit when I was scoring my cards. I've been working with a very heavy card base lately, and then when I went to score these, I was just a little too rough. So there's my swag, and now I'm just going to kind of play around with this die. I love this die so much. It's so unique. I had nothing else like it in my stash, and my daughter always is doing the heart hands for me, and I do them back to her. So when she saw this, she loved it too. So I am going just to assemble one here real quickly for you. Don't forget the pinky. Just make sure you hold on to all the little pieces. And now this card's hilarious. This was the first one, and I decided to use VersaFine ink, and these are the times when I swear it off and I decide I'm only using it for embossing going forward, but then I don't. VersaFine is an amazing ink. However, you sometimes, depending on the cardstock, this being one, you need to wait like forever for it to dry. So everything's cool here. You're not going to see all the mistakes till later, and I left them in there for you. Let's laugh together. So here I am just stamping, and I couldn't figure out what that rectangle was, but I think it's maybe supposed to be like a tiny piece of washi. Oh, I get it now. I get it. Just now in this moment, I think it's supposed to be like what goes over the flower, like a piece of tape. Aha. Yeah. Well, I thought it was cool for creating my own like kind of graphic accent to my card. So that's what I used it for. All right, I popped these hands up, and then I'm going to add a few sequins. And already I just had one little smear, which is why I'm adding these sequins over there on the left. So that was the first smear. And I was like, I got this. I'll just put a sequin on it. Everything will be fine. This card almost went in the trash, and I'm so glad I was able to rescue it and save it. So here is a happy birthday sentiment, which is a cardstock sticker, and I did pop this up as well. And I love it. It fit in there perfectly. Okay, everything's still cool. I'm checking it. Yeah, everything's fine. Then I decided I'm going to erase the pencil marks from this piece of paper and put it to use on the inside. Put a little more swag in my card. And I still want to cover that top crease, again, where I overscored from the inside. So then I've got it completely, in good shape. So I bring in this piece, and I'm just using my scraps here. I'm going to crease that with my hand where it needs to be folded. And then I will tape this down. And I think this is where it all went wrong. So I go to tape this onto the card base, and you see I'm touching the front of my card there. Bad move. Don't do it. There's a first ink smudge in there. Then I open it, and I'm like, oh, sticky fingers. This thing is smudged all over the place. Inside, outside, everywhere. So I bring in my sand eraser, and it works its magic to where I can save the card. I'm like, yes, I don't have to throw it away. Right? You guys are feeling me on this, right? So yeah, I'm going to be able to save it. So I put in an insert so I can write something to someone, a birthday something, I would assume. And then there, I lost a sequin. Where did it go? I look for it. That's when I turned my card up. Can't find it anywhere on my desk. I don't know, like a goblin came in and ate it while I was dealing with the inside of the card. And then I smudged it again. Guys, I left all this in there so we could laugh together. Wow. But I got through it. The rest of the cards went very smooth. I'm happy to report. So this is card number 2. Well, I say they went smooth, but they didn't exactly go, some of them didn't go according to plan. Like this one. I had a specific idea in mind that I had sketched, but it didn't play out. But I really like what I got instead. So, the sketching got my creativity warmed up. It got my juices flowing. And before I had the stuff on my hand, so I definitely recommend it. But, the sketches can also be a jumping off point. No hard and fast rules in my craft room. No, life has too much hard and fast rules. So in my craft room, I allow myself a lot of freedom. So if I don't want to follow the sketch, I don't follow it. All right, I'm bringing in this stamp again and stamping up both sides. And then I'm going to bring in this other stamp. That is the wreath, and I love this image so much. I'm so happy to have it in my stash. And I'm shocked I didn't use the Cameo stamp today because my mom has loved Cameo my whole life, Cameo jewelry. And so I am just shocked I didn't use that. I have such an affinity with it just because of her love for it. All right, so I'm making this card for a crafty friend. And so I wanted to include all the different paint brushes and calligraphy pens, and I really like how this came together. I totally didn't have it planned this way, and I love it. So I'm just going to tape everything down. And this card's kind of fun because it's using almost everything in the kit. So I've got stamps, paper, ephemera, dies. Yeah, it's got it going on. I like that. I like using everything in my kit, and that's why this month I challenge myself to, just lightly use ephemera, but not make it the focal point of my cards. That's always tempting because I love the ephemera. I really just love the Spellbinders kits. They're definitely, out of all the subscriptions, I've tried, I guess, 5 different companies, card kit subscriptions. This is my favorite. It just is. It's so fun to play with. Now, I skip months too, though. Like, it really has to fit me for me to purchase it. But when I do, I'm always excited to play with it. Okay, so I die cut the flowers out of actually some metallic paper I had in my scrap box. I know I always have little pieces of metallic paper in there, so I just grabbed that instead of cutting into the gold sheet that came in my kit. And then I stamped the sentiment and cut it out. And now I'm doing the inside. I really like how the inside of all these cards turned out too. There's a lot of asymmetry, which I really like. And this card, I just love that card. So card number 3, this is fun. So I take a 5.5 by 5.5 square of this grid paper. I don't know what it is about me and grid paper, but I love it. I love it when I get pattern paper that has a grid, and I have a grid 6x6 background stamp. I just love it. I don't know. Okay, so I cut myself some strips, and then I wanted to show you guys this. So I took a square piece of paper, 6x6. I cut this at 2 1/4, and I made sure that my top edge, or my top point, and my bottom point were lined up. After doing this, I just made sure I had a straight line across the bottom every time cutting it at 2 1/4, which perfectly gave me 4 triangles that I could then add these strips to. And then I'm going to place them on the corners of my card. So I'm going to do 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside. I really, really liked the color palette of this kit. It was so refreshing for me to have these colors to work with. Yeah, I liked that, and I liked how modern it is. It was just a very soulful kit for me. It may not be that for everyone, but it was for me. And the sentiments, like in the stamp set and in the stickers, were so beautiful. Really good job. All right, so I did grab 3 pieces of ephemera and put them, staggered them here in the grid. And 2 of them had that faux tape across them. So what I did is I brought in stickers, the word stickers, to put across here. And I really like these. So I'm just imitating and covering up that detail of that ephemera. And now I'll bring in some sequins. Guys, this glue, it was wearing me out. I don't think I can use it again. That is like a special occasion glue for me. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. Especially like when it dries, it's still tacky. Oh, that drives me nuts. Anyways, yeah. So me and the glue were having some issues too. You know, it's so funny. Our family's word of the year this year is perseverance. So I had to persevere in this card making session. It was joyful and it was fun, but it had its challenges. And I didn't surrender. I didn't give up. I just kept going. And I'm happy with my results. All right, card number 4. So in this card, I wanted to layer up 3 patterns and then use some stickers. So I really wanted to use this girl. I just loved her. And I decided to bring in my tear ruler and tear the edges. I thought that would add a nice texture to the layers. And it's funny, I actually kept these thin strips and I use them on the inside of the card. So then I rough up the edges with my fingernail a little bit more. I wanted to emphasize that torn edge. It's funny, in this video I'm actually bringing in a couple of my junk journal tools and tricks, like that ruler, and then I think it's the next card I'm going to show you guys a fun little tip that I totally use in junk journals. I guess I'm getting warmed up so I can start making them again. I actually took some out of my Etsy shop today and decided just to send them to friends. So some people are going to be getting some junk journal happy mail pretty soon. All right, so I am just gluing down these stickers to reinforce them and creating a little scene. And it's quirky and fun, and I really am happy with this card as well. I'm happy with all the cards today. That doesn't always happen. But today it did. And here we go, just using the torn strips, and I'm putting them in the same order as they are on the front. I have so much of this kit left over that you guys might see another video. I might do another video where I'm just focused on using a lot of the ephemera and creating cards. Or I was even thinking about making a journal with the leftover stuff because I just like it that much, and I wouldn't mind having a journal made out of it. So we'll see which one I go for. If you guys want to see another video with me using the kit, let me know. If I get enough votes for that, then that's what I'll do. Card number 5. Yep, here's a junk journal tip for you. Okay, so I want to imitate like aged tape. So I'm going to use this Scotch tape, and I'm just showing you, I'm just putting it on the little plastic cellophane that the tape was in, and then I'm going to put some alcohol ink on there. Now I used a darker color tonight. I would recommend like Vintage Photo. I think this was walnut stain, but it works. So it doesn't take too long to dry, but I went ahead and I did that first so it could dry while I colored these flowers. So these are die cuts, and I'm just going to color them up real quickly with my alcohol ink markers. And I was coloring them to match a sheet of the paper that I wanted to put on the front of this card. It might be too matchy-matchy. They might blend a little too much, but I still like the card. So if you don't have that blending tool that I use to make the tape, it just has felt on it. You know, essentially, if you have a piece of felt, you could do it. You could apply the ink on that Scotch tape. Okay, so I have my 5.5 by 5.5 base. Then I have this pink piece of paper. This is the blue piece of paper that I got when I had cut the corners, the 2¼ inch corners. This is what was left over from that. Okay, so I'm going to peel up my tape. Now I let it stick to itself. It kind of rolled up, and which kind of discolored it, but if you don't let it roll up on itself, it'll be just fine. So I just glue my flowers down a little bit, but then they're actually going to be taped on there. So I didn't need too much glue. Okay, so the next thing that I do after the flowers is I did put a sentiment on there. I really liked this sentiment and that it had a die. That was very cool. This is the first month that I've used that feature in a card kit, but I know they've been doing it the last few months. It's just the first time I've used it. Okay, the sequin mix that came in this kit had like big sequins and teeny tiny sequins. Well, I wanted to use the teeny tiny ones on this card because the flowers are so small and the details in the paper are so small. I thought it would be a nice touch. And I really like how I finished out the inside of this card. So I just took 2 scraps that match a piece of paper from the front. And then I have that extra flower over there on the left. I am going to put that at the top of this card. So one thing I've been doing the last week or two is actually finishing out the top and the bottom on the inside of the card, or both sides of the card. So I'm really liking the completed look of that. So depending on what the project is, I might be carrying that into 2021 with me, doing more styles like this. I just feel like it gives it a really polished and finished look. In fact, I think the inside was the thing I was most pleased with on this card. And that one's done. So card number 6. I knew it would be challenging for me to use a black card base just because I never do. I'm always using white or a color. And I realized today when I was cutting up this paper, I was like, wow, I never use black. So I might have to challenge myself to use, I don't know, make a set of cards, but they're all on black bases or something, or just use it more often. I really loved this paper, and of course I had to use the hands again. And I put a heart in between them. and then that lovely sticker, which the lovely sticker is the same color as the pink paper, so I thought those tied in really well together. The hands almost look like they have like gloves on because I cut it out of pattern paper. And so here I'm using that scrap, and it doesn't even bother me that it's not perfect. Again, I really liked some of the asymmetry I had going on in these cards. And I thought this strip over here really finished the inside off nicely. All right, so that's everything, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you. So here's the card that was a complete wreck, but we saved it. Yay! And I really like it. I'm very happy with it. I realized I need to stamp the back of my cards. That's something I always do. All right, now it's ready. And then this one, I really like this card. I hope the special person I send it to likes it too. This one's so nice too. I really like this one as well. Let me know which ones you like. Is it okay that I'm gushing over my own cards? I'm just very pleased with these. I was so happy to work with this kit. And I can't wait for this month's kit with the cat, the lucky cat. Have y'all seen it? Oh, it's going to be amazing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And please subscribe, like the video, leave me a comment, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.